All right, welcome back, everybody. We got another episode of the Riders Meeting, which is the Q&A session. And today we have some advanced group riders with us. On the left, top left, what's your name there, sir?
Tim Allen, like the comedian.
All right, and how long you been riding the track for, and what do you currently ride?
I've been riding 4 years. I got into it a little late in life. I'm 54 now, so I was 50 when I started. I started on a Triumph 675R for 3 years, and then this last year I've been on a Yamaha R1.
And you've been riding with fast tracks. I mean, that's where you did your novice group, right? Because I had you in that class,
I
actually.
did it with you, yeah,
Yep. Right on. So you
2022.
kick ass, man. And do you race at all?
I do. I've been in a couple weird races. I started about a year and a half ago. June of 24, I think, was my first race, and that was with the Triumph. So I was in C class, C group, whatever.
Uh, Mark, you got any questions for Tim?
No, that's I mean that's good. That's nice that you're getting out there and trying to compete, I mean I think that's kind of important, if you really want to be good, I guess it's a good way to kind of put yourself in that moment, and even if you're not like a super competitive person, it helps bring you up, you know, see how other people that maybe are seasoned, not as seasoned, and kind of, I think it gives you a better perspective, even if you don't have aspirations to be super fast and super, competitive and stuff like that. But I think it definitely amps you up it brings you up to another level with more confidence, seeing other people doing it in a close, and everyone is a little faster. I mean, everyone's always faster in a race versus, but I think it
Yeah.
definitely helps.
Uh,
Yeah, I think the best part about racing was you get to meet even more people because
Correct.
there's a lot of people that come in for the Wira weekends that aren't there normally. So
Yep.
I got to meet a lot more people, and just it was intimidating at first,
It's
you know,
very,
not
very,
knowing what to do, and you have to get that the lap timer thing and just all that stuff, and the
yeah.
inspections are different, tech is different, and just all that stuff. But I was really glad once I got the first race done with, because it was like that was like a box I wanted to check, and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Finished second in my class, so it was kind
Great.
of cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
hey,
It
Uh,
is.
let's
I think it is
hold on. Let's get through some of the introductions. We'll get back to that because
yeah.
it seems like a pretty good topic where people want to talk about, like at
Yeah.
least Tim, you, and myself as well. But next there in the middle, sir. What's your name?
Yeah, I'm Jaret Johnson. I've been riding. Actually, I've only been riding for 2 years.
Cool.
I didn't even buy my first motorcycle until 2023,
Really?
Wow.
and yeah, I'm still on a small bike, and I plan on going another year on it. I'm on a
What
Yamaha
is a
R3.
small bike?
Yamaha R3.
Okay. Okay.
Awesome. Great bike to
So
learn on.
Yeah. Have
say
you
again.
have you raced at all?
Yes, I started racing this year, 2025.
Cool.
I've
Nice.
raced at Nelson Ledges and Grattan.
And
Awesome.
did you do your like novice with fast tracks or another group or
I did my novice with Sport Bike Track Time
up at Grattan?
at Grattan,
Yep.
and then I came into Fast Track and Intermediate.
Right on.
Sure.
Next there, far right, sir.
Is that me?
That's
Because I'm
you.
not on my screen. All right. My name's Justin Wesson. I ride a 2008 Gixxer 600, and this is my second year doing track riding. Uh, third year riding it overall.
Cool.
Got my first bike in 2023.
Have you
So,
been on your Gixxer 600 track the entire time?
I spiced it up at the last Nelson's event with my buddy's R6, just because he just got it and wanted some times put down on it. But other than 600s, that's really all I've ridden on track.
Cool.
Have you raced at all, or
No,
you have
that's
expectations to race?
too. That's where some of my questions are going to come into play today.
Awesome, awesome.
Awesome.
Because
Cool.
this year, hopefully, I'm trying to. I want to get the license and all that. There's just, there's not much info out there on where to the first.
Be glad to help.
Yeah.
Yep, we both have been through it, and both of those guys have as well. So we can definitely get into that. So, before we get into your guys' questions, I I do want to I'm assuming all of you have probably ridden with other organizations, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just once.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't have to name names or anything like that, but I'm just curious to what your opinion on, fast tracks versus some of the other orgs that you guys have ridden with.
Sloppy compared to fast tracks, in my opinion, at least. Not naming names, of course, but I feel like fast tracks does a really good job of organizing and having that the correct grouping and like ladder in order, and like how track days are run. How some organization will just throw everyone out on track, not getting any background, any like information from the riders themselves of like how comfortable they are and whatnot. They'll just toss them all out on track, and it's just a mess. That's from my experience, at least.
I've kind of noticed that riding I've rode a lot of organizations, and sometimes I feel like it's just a free for all. They just put you out there, and they're focused on getting bumps, and no one's focused on learning. And yeah, I kind of get what you're saying.
Yeah.
You might
Yeah.
want to speak just a little louder. It's a little hard for me to hear you. I don't know
Fine.
about other people, but
I
Okay.
will yell.
Yeah.
sorry.
I've actually ridden with groups that were stricter, and some groups that are not as strict. And I find fast tracks to be just strict enough, really,
Okay.
because STT is really really crazy on all the rules, and sometimes it's a little overboard.
Okay.
And yeah, fast tracks is a little more relaxed. There's a organization in Canada that I've ridden with, and they wanted to put me in advanced group for my first day there, and they didn't know who I was, which really kind of surprised me.
That's
Jeez.
crazy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they were like, "You sure you don't want to ride advanced group?" I'm like, "No, I'll ride intermediate." And they must have asked me like 3 times.
Really?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
and on a little bike too. So
That's
Ah,
even crazier.
yeah.
So like
Yeah.
typically, yeah, but like I'm usually on a lightweight bike, and I typically ride in. I'll go out in advance, but I typically ride on intermediate just because of the corner speed, not because of my ability, because of the corner speed on a smaller bike.
okay, yeah, I
Yep.
find corner speed for me is nearly the same as big bikes. It's just getting off the turn and on the straight.
Yeah.
I just get dusted.
Yeah. Yep.
So
Damn.
especially like going through like the carousel, and at Nelson Ledges, because I can burn through there. For some reason, I do right hand turns really well, and I go through as fast on through there as most of the R6s, and I don't have a problem with it. But getting out of that turn, they just drive away from me so fast.
Yeah.
Horsepower will do that.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sitting at like 40.
Tim?
I don't have anything negative to say. I rode with Mid Ohio PTR once on my birthday last year in 24, and I really enjoyed it. The only thing I would say is it's a bigger group of people.
Yeah.
So sometimes there's a little bit of wait time when you come out into the pit lane, waiting to get on the track. So if your tires are coming off of warmers, you're a little, but it's not a real big deal. I'll go back there, but I like fast tracks. I love Nelson Ledges. It's just a great track. I consider it my home track, and a little bit smaller group, more personal, I think, as far as the coaches availability. Now, I'm not knocking Mid Ohio because I didn't know who the coaches were. I mean, I'm sure if I went there a few more times, I'd get to know everyone there. But I don't know. Fast tracks feels like home, So
It's good. Yeah.
Right on. Mark, you have any questions before we have them start on their questions?
No, I can kind of understand all of you guys and what you're saying. I've never ridden up in Canada or anything like that, but that's kind of crazy that someone would even, it's preposterous that someone would even suggest that. But yeah, I get it. Different. I would agree with Tim where you say, Mid Ohio is kind of, large groups and stuff like that. Fast Tracks is really nice because it is like that right size. You kind of feel like if you want to play with someone out there, you're good. You got enough people. If you kind of want to work on yourself, you got enough space and gaps that you can kind of stretch it out and stuff in the group, especially like in advanced typically. So yeah, I kind of get what you guys are all saying across the board.
And yeah, Tim, you mentioned this before, but yeah, I guess we should. To my right over here is Mark Blitnikoff. His interview was up, but just to recap, how long you been riding on the track and how long you been a coach with Fast Tracks?
Riding on the track since '94, probably before Justin was alive. Yeah, I've been racing since '94. Went right to the track and raced that weekend in '94 on a CBR 900RR. That was my first race.
And you've been a coach with Fast Tracks for how long now?
I think 3 years now. I've coached and helped with other organizations as well. So definitely like Fast Tracks, like kind of what Tim was alluding, a little smaller knit group, little easier to to navigate and stuff like that. So yeah, I like it. Plus it's close to home. It's my home track too. So definitely you can learn a lot at Nelson's. The grip is great compared to what it was 20 years ago. I don't know if any of you guys have ridden there. It was bad.
I used to drive Corvettes there 20 years ago.
Okay.
And it was bad.
Yeah, we used to call it all the racers, we used to call it the old mule trail. So it's definitely come a long ways as far as grip and bumps and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, long way. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're definitely lucky to have some. I'm lucky to have something as close to me. I'm about an hour and 25 minutes away. So it's pretty close. It's nice. So.
And I'm Ryan Hoblick. I've been riding track for, I don't know, forever. Started probably, I don't know. God, this guy probably had to have been 15 years ago, and then had a little hiatus and came back and been riding and racing for, I don't know, the last 6-7 years, whatever. Been coaching with Fast Tracks since it started up again as Fast Tracks. So yeah, 4 years maybe? I don't know. 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is. Yeah. And you didn't say Mark, but Mark rides a R7. I'm on a 660, which is better than an R7. And then a V4 Ducati. So
I'm in the market for a coach bike too.
Huh?
I'm trying to get a coach bike so I can just put the miles on that.
Right on. All right. Well, okay. We'll get into your questions now. We'll just start at the left with Tim, and then we'll go to Jaret, and then Justin, and so on and so forth. So, Tim, go ahead. What do you got?
Well, can I tell a quick story before, because I want to thank some people.
Yeah, go for it.
Absolutely.
I've watched all the interviews so far, and they've all been really good. But you were my novice coach in 22. I was a novice for a day, and I think 2 weeks later, it was May of 22, that was at Penn, Ohio Cycles. That was like a rider appreciation day there, Brian Shields.
Yep.
So I show up there, and Marty Sires is there. And I owe Marty my bump to intermediate, because that Penn, Ohio thing, they only had 2 classes, race bikes and like a bunch of Harleys, right? So there's like 2 of us on race bikes there. And I asked, and I wasn't even supposed to really go out there, but Marty let me. And I had like half-hour sessions all day long. So the next time I was at Fast Tracks, I was in intermediate. And before the end of that first year, Ryan gave me the bump to advanced, and I was bending his ear all summer long about things. And so that's what I mean about, like, there's a lot of people that I haven't even mentioned, but like, it's a good group of people, and they helped me like so much. And actually watching your interview with Chris Johnson about how you helped him through 4.
Yep.
We're going to do that in 26, because I need help through 4.
For sure, man.
After I crashed there.
Most people do.
Yeah. So now I'm a little hesitant in 4, and I need to get over that. But anyways, one of my first questions is for Ryan, because you ask everyone this question, and give us some background on you. When did you start riding motorcycles, and how did you end up converting from that to track? And then how did you become a coach after that?
I'll try to keep it pretty quick since this is more for you guys, like if you need some knowledge about stuff. But I don't, man. My dad rode bikes here and there, and I mean, we had mini dirt bikes, little shit, like, way back in the day. I started driving a car when I was probably like 10, because we lived out in the country, and like I'd sit on my dad's lap when I was like 7 and steer, and he'd hit the pedals, and then he taught me to drive a stick shift when I was like 10, little Ford Festiva. So I've always been like, knowing how to use clutch and whatnot. Everything came pretty natural because of that. I've always been to cars and anything with engines and like to go fast. Wasn't into sports stuff, just anything that was like motorsports. Never got into dirt bikes or anything, but my dad had bought, it was like 84, like Shadow 600 or something like that, or Suzuki Veloci. I can't remember, whatever it is. And then he ended up getting another bike, and he let me ride that a couple times, and I was like, man, this is cool, So I found this like Ninja 500 that a guy was selling near me, and I went and looked at it, and I had no money. I asked my grandfather for a loan. It was like $1,200 or $1,500, and my cousin scooped it out from underneath me. I was so mad. I didn't talk to him for like a year and a half. I was so pissed. He bought that bike. I didn't get a bike. And then I moved to Columbus in, maybe 2002. And I worked at this little shop. I've always been around like body shops and stuff like that. And my uncles owned them and stuff and whatever. And so I knew how to do stuff like that. And there was a guy in Columbus that he was like really well known for like painting bikes and making them look cool and stuff. And I worked there and learned how to like repair plastics and all this stuff. And a random guy came in and wanted to sell his bike, and it was an 86 VFR 1000, red, white, and blue. I was like, oh, that's whatever, shit, cool. So I bought it, and it was just so piss slow. Like for a liter bike, but a V4, but it's heavy. All my other friends had R6 and stuff. They're doing wheelies. The thing, I couldn't even wheelie the thing. Couldn't clutch it up. It was so freaking heavy. So I had that for like a year and sold it and made a lot of money. I made it look, cleaned it up really nice. Didn't do anything to it. Just made it as clean as possible. And, somebody who just had an affinity for those bikes ended up buying it. And then I bought like an idiot. The first bike I owned was a 900RR. It was like a 97 or something, and I just got myself in so much trouble with that thing. I mean, because, I street race Mustangs and stuff all the time, so I'd take that out and be racing cars and, just flying down the highway like an idiot. And did that for a little while with different bikes. I've owned probably 50-some bikes. Like, I'd buy different bikes every year, whatever. I mean, it was bad, choices on my end, really, but... and I kind of did a little bit of everything. I actually had a 954 that was the Starboys bike, the black and silver one with the yellow wheels. It's on I think it's like Starboys 3 video. I bought that bike, started stunt riding, got in trouble doing that, doing stupid stuff. And then I got into doing some touring. My dad and his buddy would always go on these bike trips, and I was always very envious. So I wanted to do some touring and stuff. I took a all-day trip from Marysville to Virginia Beach right after I got off work at Honda at like 1:30 in the morning and drove straight there on an R6 back roads, which was horrible. So after that, I'm like, yeah, I should probably get something that's a little bit nicer. So I got a VFR 800, put bags on it and stuff, and me and my wife did some touring stuff, and that was kind of the thing for a while. I went back from cruisers to like touring bikes, had a couple multi-stratas. We went to Colorado. We did a lot of the East Coast, did all that stuff. And then I did my first track day when I had my VFR. And my first track day, I was like, holy crap, dude. Like, I can't remember. I think it was with Nesba at Putnam. Was it at Putnam? Yeah, it was Putnam. And it was discouraging. No help. I felt lost. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I almost just didn't do it again. And I gave it another shot. It was with STT at not Gingerman. What's the other track up by you guys, Jaret?
Grattan.
It was not Grattan. It was Gingerman.
Yeah,
And
Gingerman.
so I went to Gingerman, and I was like, man, I had a really good time, had a good coach. And then I crashed that day, low-sided, no clue why. Obviously, it was just because my skill level sucked.
Probably turn 5.
I know it was a right-hander. I can't remember.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you down in turn 5. I hate that turn.
But so did that, and then I kind of enjoyed it. And I kept going back and going back. I spent a lot of time in novice just learning. I was always scared to bump up. And then I had several different bikes, like I said. I had a Gixxer 600 and this and that and da-da-da. And then I bought a Hyper Motard 851 SP or whatever when they first came out in like 2011. And I bumped myself to intermediate. I used to go out and ride with Carmoto, did track days up at Putnam, which was a Ducati dealer or whatever. So I would do when they went up there. And I just placed myself in intermediate and rode intermediate because, like I said, the coaches with the orgs at the time, they just didn't really pay any attention. They were out there, whatever. But like, and maybe I wasn't, I didn't go up to people, whatever, but I didn't even know who coaches were, whatever. I just thought that they would reach out more. And that's kind of what, how the whole thing went. Like, as far as my bumps, I just kind of placed myself into stuff. But hung around a lot of bike people, did a lot of powder coating and different things for bike people. Always been in those communities, and kind of got out of it for a while. And then a friend of mine, couple friends of mine, we'd always just take off, load up the bikes. When I got my RS-V4, and we'd trailer from Marysville out to like 71 off of 7, or not 71, 77 off of 70. We'd park at a gas station. We'd ride down to Marietta and stuff. We were just all twisty back roads. We'd spend all day, had a lot of fun. And I invited a friend of mine to come out, and he came rode with us, and he had a really good time. And he's like, man, I said, you should go to the track, man. You'd probably enjoy it. And he's like, well, you want to go to the track? I'm like, it's been a while, but we'll go back. And so he went and together, and he was really good. He picked the shit up right away. It made me feel embarrassed. Like, I was humbled. Like, I've been riding forever. I mean, he's ridden on the street and stuff, but he's never been to the track. Hadn't had a lot of time on the street. He just immediately could be quicker than me. So he went to intermediate fast, and then he got into advanced. I never got a bump into advanced yet, and whatever. And then I just one day placed myself in advance at NCM, and we kind of took off and kind of played off each other. And then he goes, oh, we should start racing. Like, shit, okay, why not? So we started racing and whatever. And we did a lot of track days with Lean up at Nelson. And the organization was awesome. I mean, it's like Fast Tracks is now. It's just, Sam isn't the one running it. But most of the coaches are the same. And I love the organization. I had a lot of fun, enjoyed racing, enjoyed all the support. I wanted to give back, especially knowing when I was starting out, like, I felt like I didn't have anybody to help. So anytime I've ever wanted to do anything, it's always been because I wanted to, like, reflect a change. What didn't I get? People reaching out to me wanting to help, and I wanted to do that. And I asked Sam 2 years in a row, and I didn't know that he was basically, stopping running the organization. So he would say, yeah, we'll think about it, whatever, but he never really got back to me on stuff. And then Tim Kiggins, who lives 10 minutes down the road from me, one day came over, and he was BSing, and because him and Malakar were going to, basically do fast tracks now. take it over from what Sam had, and he's like, hey, you talked to me about it before about, wanting to coach with Sam. I'm like, yeah, did he say something? He goes, well, me and Malik are starting it with Fast Tracks, and yeah, we'd like to have you on as a coach. And it's kind of been where it's been since. And still race, not a lot, but I do. And when I have time between working and whatever, but it's expensive. I live very far away. Fast Tracks is I consider it my home track because I coach there, but I'm 3 hours one way. So fuel and everything else, hauling my big ass camper and whatever. It's expensive weekend, and racing is, if you do both days, it's like $2,000 for a weekend to get up there, get back, tires, fees, etc. It's a lot of money. So yeah, how it is.
Generators. Yeah, generators.
Oh, you shouldn't have brought those up.
Yeah. I've been through so many. My onboard generator took a crap couple times. I bet backup generators, they've died. Brand new generator ran for 3 months and then it died. And yeah, so yeah, it's life, I guess. I hate it, but whatever. So yeah, that's that. There's a lot more there, but that's the gist of it. I probably took more time than I should have anyways, but thanks for asking.
I think it was time that you gave us your story. So
yeah, well, thanks for dragging it out of me, I guess. Jaret.
Any other questions, Tim, before we move?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll let those guys go.
Yeah,
I do have more if we have time.
No, we'll go. We're just going to go through, right? One question, go to the next guy, and then we'll just circle back around. So, Jaret?
All right. Hey, so before I went to Nelson Ledges, I wanted to learn the track beforehand so I would know all the turns going into there and make the learning curve a little bit easier. And I actually learned a track through a video game, through driving a car on a video game.
Assetto Corsa?
Assetto Corsa.
Yeah, I have that. Exactly. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's the one I used. And I've done that for other tracks too. And so when I got there, I knew all the turns. I just didn't know the braking point. I didn't know exactly where the apexes were and how to run out. I had to get a feel for all that. And when I got the Fast Tracks, and I went in an intermediate because they let me go straight there. I just followed one of the coaches around. I honestly can't remember who it was. But real quick, I got hooked up with Eric. I know Eric's on an R3.
Betcher, yep.
And I've worked with him the most out of anyone. And a question for you guys is how do you guys learn tracks? When you first go to a track that you don't know, and do you look at videos beforehand? Do you play the video game? Is there other ideas that you've come up with that have helped you get in and out of turns?
Go ahead, Mark.
I'll go, Ryan.
Go for it, Mark.
When I started racing, there wasn't no video. There was no such thing as video. So it would be kind of latch onto someone, kind of pick someone out that you think is maybe your skill level and try to obviously stay within your comfort zone, but, get there early, get on track early where people aren't going as fast. So that was always my key. Like, get there early, get on track, get the lay of the land. If I got there the day before, walk the track. That was always the big thing, because walking a track versus riding it is two different things. You'll see camber, you'll see brake marks, you'll see skid marks, you'll see a lot of stuff. So if you can't get video, which nowadays you should be able to get some kind of video of something, a track walk is always a good way to do it. You can go out, you can kick the pavement, see what kind of grip there is. Cause like that was something when I went to Grattan, you have all those sealer strip, that sealer that they have everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, it looks like ice when you're riding and racing. You're like, oh my God, this is like ice. Like, and it, it doesn't, sometimes it has grip, sometimes it doesn't. In the rain, it's horrible. But that's something you can go out and do and kick the pavement. I always kick my pavement with a pair of sneakers. I'll have a good pair of sneakers on. I can kick the pavement, kind of feel what kind of grip it is. I can look at camber. I can look at and kind of picture it. I've always been pretty good at picking up new tracks. I might not be the fastest at every track, but I definitely can get away. I can get around every track. Usually within a session or two, I'm pretty confident of where it's going and stuff like that. like Pit Race when they added that whole new section, you know, when it used to be the old Beaver Run, and then they added, you know, blind corners are obviously a little tough to judge and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, get video when you can, track walk when you can, and try to pick someone out that, you know, or latch on, you know, say, hey, hey, have you ever been here before? Mind if I follow you out for a session or two? Or, you know, maybe just kind of reach out to someone. Those are probably my 3 best suggestions: is talk to people, walk the track, or get some video, you know?
Yeah, I would agree with pretty much everything that Mark said. Ask a coach, you know, to see, you know, grab somebody, see if they'll pull you around. Or because it's hard to, you know, especially like if you go to somewhere you've never been, it's out of state. Like I went to Road Atlanta, and you know, that's like 9 hours. It's way, I don't know anybody down there or whatever. And you know, I asked the coach, and I won't say what organization, but it was a shit show. And like the first lap was like, I had no freaking clue where I was going, especially after 10A, 10B going up the hill and going down. I almost pit out because, like, if you've never been there and never been around the track before in your life, it looks like it, after you come, like, you can't see anything until literally you go over the crest and you're pointing downhill. So, like, at the top, you still can't see. You have to be pointing down to, like, know where to go. So when I crested the top, I just saw the track kind of going like this, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, oh, shit, this is pit out. And I had to cut back over through. But so the next, after we got off the track and pitted, I went and got a coach. I'm like, dude, I'm lost, like, around the whole thing. But, like, you know, 11 is terrible for me. Like, I almost pit out, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, look at this dot. There's on the walk over, but, like, that means nothing to me. Right? Like, I've never been there. Like, I don't know what's going on. So it was pretty much a shit show, and I kind of, like, learned it myself. And it was 2 days, but, I mean, it thunderstormed that first day. So I got 1 day, and I think by maybe the end of the day, I half knew what I was doing. But pit, I went there and in it, like, you know, started at my first day at pit. I was in advance, never been to that track. Thrown to the wolves type thing. We got pulled around for a little bit, but it wasn't that great. And it was just kind of like what he said. You know, I'm trying to follow anybody I thought that had a decent line, but a lot of the guys that have decent lines and stuff, I mean, they're going to be flying, and you just can't keep with that pace, right? So, man, the best thing that it's just repetition, right? I mean, obviously that first time there is kind of a shit show, but yeah, asking people, walking the track, like he said. I'm not good at learning tracks. It takes me a little while to kind of really figure it out. Like, you know, I could go there once and, like, I can get around the track and know what's at, but I won't know, like, how deep I can brake, or, you know, there's, like Nelson, for instance, there's different lines you can take and different bikes that can utilize different lines, and there's little subtleties on the track that you can, you know, either like you purposely miss or go over because it just, that line works better because of something that's on the track and surface, whatever it is that will cause the bike to be upset. There's little nuances. So, like, those things are all learned, like, by asking people or just repetition on it. But, like, yeah, I mean, for the most part, like, how I do it, if I've never been to a track, never watched a video, whatever, I go out. My first lap, you know, session, I'm just trying to figure out, where does the track go? And try to get it somewhat memorized, you know, where I need to be at. Looking at, like, the you know, if they have the braking marker boards and stuff. And then, you know, after I know kind of where I'm going, then it's trying to pick out should I be shifting, trying to get that down. Because once that gets automated, then I can start working on getting a little bit faster. So, you know, getting those, what gearing I should be in, what works good, and then kind of picking the pace up going from there. But yeah, I've never been fantastic at learning tracks, unless I knew somebody I went with that knew the track and could pull me around. Then it's a huge bonus to do that. So, yeah, if you can find somebody that will, you know, take some time and give you the little nuances and pointers and stuff, watching the videos or playing the video game thing is great, because at least you get a sense of, like, where the track goes. You just don't know elevation and camber and stuff. As you know, like Nelson, for instance, when you play on Assetto Corsa, like, yeah, you know what the turns are, but, like, it definitely doesn't represent how much cambers in a corner, really how tight that radius really is and the type of grip, but the direction and kind of the in and outs of corner entry, corner exit, you kind of get a general idea of. But yeah.
Okay.
It's my turn now.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. So I just got into advanced this past season, and I've done 2 days in it. So I'm relatively pretty new to the really up pace and all that stuff. My question is, for newer advanced riders that are trying to go faster, obviously we're all trying to go fast. What would you guys say? Well, let me preface this. The more you ride, the less deviation there's going to be in your track times. It's going to be hundreds of seconds of difference. What would you guys say is the biggest impacting factor in lowering your lap times, getting faster, getting quicker? Obviously, there's not much you can do, but obviously there's going to be something that impacts everything more than something else.
I'll take this one first, I guess. I mean, going faster is all mental, right? So
Yeah.
You'll hit plateaus throughout your time riding, and like bridging those gaps and like pushing past those plateaus is really hard because, I bring this up with everything. It's like, it's being comfortable with what the bike's doing and the trust in your tires and et cetera. So like, the first time you get a rear slide, it's like you shit your pants a little bit and go, Jesus Christ, but then you do it 4, 5, 6 times. It's like, well, okay, I didn't crash. Like, it's manageable. The bike's going to do this, and it's kind of a normal thing. Or when you're getting into a corner or entering a corner and you lift the rear under hard braking and the back starts to skitch a little bit or whatever. The first time, same thing. You're like, what the fuck, man? But it, like, every time you do that thing and continuously happens and you get more comfortable with it, you kind of understand the bike more and you get more sense of feeling. And that's so being comfortable with how the bike's going to react underneath you, and more of a sense of feeling. The longer that you ride and the quicker that you go and the farther your skill set is, you'll start to like really notice some weird things that you probably didn't notice before, like how the front tire starts to feel, at this corner under certain load or whatever, or when you're on the gas, how the bike feels. And like all those things will play into how you can get faster. Feeling is a huge thing to like know the limit. And then every time you have those scares or whatever that turn out to be not as bad as you thought, will allow you to kind of like, progress a little bit more. It's just so much mental stuff. And having a tow from somebody like a coach or whatever is really helpful because, especially like if you have a lap timer, turn the lap timer off and have a coach drag you around. Be like, hey, this is, if you have a lap timer and they go, oh, I'm running 12s or whatever, or 13s or whatever it is, and like to get a tow, maybe see if I can, come down on the lap time. And like generally what I would do with people is like, hey, turn your shit off, and then I'll drag them around. We'll go like 14s, and then the next lap may be like a 13.5, and I'll just slowly start to pull them, and I'll watch, behind me, be like, are they keeping that gap? Yeah. So when you have that carrot, that helps a ton. And if you start racing, you can ask both of these guys for sure. Your lap time is minimum 1 second faster. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like those fear things that you have and your risk factor when you race, for whatever reason, it goes down. In a track day, you're more aware of that risk factor, and you leave so much room for that risk. When you race, you can really, not all of it, but a lot of it goes out of your head and allows you to like go faster. And the thing is, when you race and you do go faster, you'll be like, dude, that was easy. Like, I didn't even feel like I was on the limit at all. It's pretty wild. Like, even if you don't want to, like, race a lot or whatever, I would say at least do it. You said you were interested in doing it. It'll be huge for you because you get to see a whole nother side of you, and then experience, like, how fast you can go and really not be on the limit because you're just not paying attention. It's like during a track day, you pay so much attention to what's going on, and you just feel that risk factor's higher for whatever reason. It's very strange.
Yeah.
Mark?
I would definitely agree. The more chasing someone, everything like that, but I think it comes down to first is the bike. Does the bike feel comfortable to you? If it doesn't feel comfortable, you're not going to go any faster.
Yeah.
So working on suspension, do you like it soft? Do you like it stiff? Do you like it this? Does it not doing something and getting it to do those things? That will definitely help your confidence, because if you don't, like Ryan said, if you don't have confidence, you're not going to be able to produce a fast lap time. You're not going to be able to produce a consistent lap time either. So I would think first thing is the bike. Get your bike well sorted. Do you like, everything from brake pads? Do you like the way it grips? Do you like the way it stops? Do you like the way they fade or they not fade? Do you like the suspension? Is it too stiff? Does it do this? If under braking when it trails in, does it dive? Does it not dive? Is it not finishing turn, or does it not go enter the turn? So I think, getting faster is more comfortable with the bike. And like, I like a bike that is a little bit more spongy, can move underneath me. I don't care if it moves. To me, I don't like riding some bikes that are just like stiff as a board. It's like riding a 2x4 and there's like no suspension. And it just like, it doesn't want to turn. It doesn't want to do this. It doesn't want to hold the line. Like riding someone else's bike is definitely, you see so many different bikes, out there. And riding other people's bikes and seeing things, because sometimes if you're new, you don't know what you like and what you don't like. If you're riding the same bike every time, like you said that you rode your buddy's R6, like, did you notice a difference between that R6 and that 10-year-old motorcycle that you have? Like,
Oh yeah.
there was probably, how flickability, because I had a 2007 GSX R600, and I rode, and they were just, oh my God, they felt good, they felt planted, but they weren't really flickable. It was really hard to kind of move it around,
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
comfortable, being comfortable on the bike is probably your best bet to go faster. After that, if the bike is comfortable and you know what it's going to do, and it's predictable, then you can start chasing people, following people, and understanding, like, you get behind a guy and you're like, oh man, I'm so much faster than him in some of these terms, but he's kind of holding me up. But then when he gets to other parts of the track, 4 in the carousel, all the way through the carousel, you're like, man, he's so much faster. Then that's something where you're like, okay, well, you have the confidence in the bike. You can follow with confidence. And you know that if you're on the same tires and you're kind of on the same bike, you should be able to understand that, well, if he's doing it, I should be able to do it. That's kind of my always like, hey, if he's doing it, I should be able to do it. Especially when you see it lap after lap after lap, that you're like, why am I going? Why, and there's a lot of times too, where you have this like light bulb goes off in your head where you're thinking like, okay, I braked at the 4 marker again, and I'm going way too slow, and I'm goosing it, and I'm getting back on the gas. So, okay, maybe take it to the 3.5 marker. Maybe take it to the 3 marker. So, like, understanding, like, if you're saying to yourself, man, I could definitely be going faster through here. I feel like I'm parking it. Well, then, yeah, systematically go through it and amp it up just a little bit. At a track day, I ride very conservative. There is never one of those oh shit moments when I'm at a track day, or I'm coaching, or even if I'm coaching and not in coaching and I'm out there just playing in advance, or I'm doing something else. Like, I am never out there to push the limit. I am out there to just be comfortable, but I'm working on something. I'm working on braking. I'm working on body position. I'm working on something when I'm out there in a session. Like, I'm working on something. And the same thing, like when I go golf. If I go golf with my friends and I'm not playing in a competitive tournament, I'm working on, chipping, or I'm working on putting, or I'm working on just one thing. So that might be something you want to do, is just focus on one thing each session. And then towards the end of the day, you kind of put all those things together and everything starts to come together. Like, the lap time starts to be easier, because smooth is fast, fast is smooth. Everyone says it, and that's exactly what it is. There's been times where I'm like, oh my God, we were doing 12s. Like, I didn't even realize that. Like, you didn't even think about it, and you're following someone and you're not paying attention to the lap timer. But again, it's one of those things. It starts with having a comfortable bike, that that something is not wrong with the bike. Everything is good. Suspension's good. Brakes, you like the brakes. There's so many different variables and there's so many different things. Every one of us have a different bike. Every one of us ride differently. Every one of us probably have different lines. Like that's the biggest thing. If you want to go faster, first start with the comfort, then start with, pitting yourself against other people and following them.
Yeah.
And then putting it all together on your own. Because some people can only go fast when they're following people. Some people can go fast when they're out front and they they are the carrot. So everyone's different. So you just got to kind of figure out where you fit in. But then at the end of the day, you want to be able to do it on your own. When you're out there in the session, there's only 5 guys and you don't see a bike in front of you or behind you for half the track. You want to be able to click those off faster than you were, but you just got to put it together.
Yeah, that's how it was. Like my first day in advance, it was in the second half of the day, and it was just empty track. There was maybe like 4 of us out there, and I'm just like nervous as hell. I'm like, I'm about to get my doors blown off like any second now by someone. But
no, don't worry about that. Especially in advance, like no one's gonna really blow your doors off, especially in the fast tracks. Like I don't see everyone, even advanced. I think advanced is the safest group because everyone's doing. Everyone is the most predictable. Everyone is kind of doing the same lines. Everyone is kind of doing the same speed. Everyone is kind of knows what they're, or at least should know what they're doing. So I always say like advance is the most safest group typically, So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Tim.
So you guys are coaches and you show up to, a weekend day and they assign you to a group for the day. Obviously, there's a lot less feedback you've got to give these guys than, novice or whatever. But so when you go out for a session, what is it that you're thinking of? Like what's on your mind? Like what's your agenda for that session? And then kind of a 2-parter. When you do give feedback to A group riders, what's the most common thing that you're telling them if you need to give them some feedback?
I would say the number one thing for me, no matter what group, whether it's novice, intermediate, advanced, the number one thing for me is safety for everyone. Is someone doing something and acting like a knucklehead? Other than that, like I want people to have fun, but that's my mindset no matter what I'm doing. Obviously, advanced, I don't have to worry as much because, and I can honestly say, I don't think I've ever really seen, as many years I've been riding an advanced group, I've never really seen some crazy nutsos out there. I've seen buddies really dicing it up a little bit more than maybe they should, but they're together kind of thing. Yeah. They're both usually pretty skilled. But that would say, like I said, that's the first thing I'm worrying about safety. I typically will, I'll typically let advanced group kind of do their thing. Intermediate, I'll kind of pick out some people that are kind of, struggling with some stuff. I'll give them a little tap on the tail, kind of give them something, and then I'll kind of remember what their leathers are. After I get off the bike, I'll come in, I'll put on the warmers, I'll go find them, like, hey, just so you know, like in 4, you could probably do a lot more here, or hey, be careful over on that side of the track. It's a little dirty out there. Maybe there's a lot of marbles or something, if they're not asking me, I love it when people come up to me and ask me, and it's like, hey, you want to go out with this? Oh, sure. Absolutely. I'm right here. I try to pit up on that front up there. Hey, I'm on the, the black and bright yellow bike and come on up, let's go. And then working with someone, like I love working 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 and like really diving into entry, speed, rhythm, because it's a lot of it's like rhythm. I always say that fast is like really good rhythm. You're like, it's like playing drums. Everything's smooth, everything goes, everything flows. So like I love working with people 1-on-1 or 2-on-1. Sometimes the groups, I feel that it's hard to work with groups. So, you get 5, 6, 7 people in one group, and then you're kind of, one guy's way up here fast and he's bored, he's rolling his eyes at you, and you got the guy in the back that's like almost crashed 3 times that lap, So sometimes those groups are like your novice groups are a little hard to work with, Sometimes it's easier. I'll just move someone out, and then grab someone in, kind of thing. And I think Mike does a pretty good job of like pitting people together and stuff. So
yeah.
But safety by far is that's my number one concern, no matter what group I'm in, and making sure, because you can read their face too. Like when you take a group out, whether it's novice, intermediate, you don't really see it in advance, but like novice and intermediate, you can see it on their face. If they're stressed, if they're struggling, if they're lost, if they're having fun, I can read people like it's no tomorrow. So I kind of will flow with what my group or who I'm with. I'll kind of flow with that. So that's kind of what my mindset is.
Yeah, I would agree. Our main priority is to make sure that it's a safety thing, right? So we're out there. I mean, we're having fun, obviously, if we're in advance, but we're looking to make sure that there's nobody being erratic or doing stupid stuff. That's the first thing, right? It's a weird thing to like ask people in advance if they need help. It's if they're not somebody that you've worked with before. Like work with Tim. I've worked with a lot of people that are in advance now that either I coach a novice, an intermediate, or whatever. There's quite a few just clients, customers of Fast Tracks that I've helped in intermediate, and they've gotten advance, and we've continued working in advance, and I love it. Like it's great. Like it could be, generally the people that go there, they do a lot of the days, and everybody kind of knows. There's quite a few people that know each other, just from coming up in intermediate and into advanced together, and I've worked with all these different people. We may go out in a group, and it may be me leading Tim and two other people, and dragging 3 people around or whatever. But like especially the people that come in that you've raced in Wiro with, what they're like. They don't need help, and whatever. There's people that have been out of town that they're really fast, and then I'll catch them in a certain part of the track. Typically 4, entry to 4 is like where almost I catch anybody that's from out of town. Like the last endurance, there's a guy, a Moto A guy. I mean, he's not like top 10 guy or whatever, but fast dude, super fast. And endurance, I think he was running like in the 8s, and he was struggling pretty hard. And we talked all day or whatever, but I gave him a couple just nuances of the track, and I went out, and he just happened to get behind me and follow me, and he was like, "Man, I don't know how you're doing this on this particular part of the track." And I'm like, "Well, hey, I'll go out and drag you around." People that haven't been to the track before, and they're going to race the next day if they, we ride the track all the time. We've got thousands of laps. We know little things. Their skill set might be way more than us, but we ride that track nonstop. Like we know every little inch of it. So there's still things that we can help with certain people. But and I'll do that if I see something that's like they're just blazing fast everywhere, but there's a particular part of the track where they're like whatever. I'll go up and say, "Dude, you're freaking fast as shit." The only thing I noticed, like I'm catching you here, like. Is there anything you're struggling with there? Like, because I can show you, like, I ride the track all the time here, and I can show you the line there. I won't be, super overimposing or anything, but, like, I just want to help whoever, even though I know that they're probably faster than me. But if I can help them in that one part of the track to make it be more faster, it's great. But, yeah, most of the time it's, it's going to be guys like you, Ian, who's going to be coaching with us now, Harbaugh, and man, there's so many guys that just came up, and like we all go out together and just have a good time, put in some good laps, and they'll learn a little something here and there, and if they have questions or like you said about 4, then we can work on that. So I want to start implementing more. I know Chris Johnson definitely records quite a bit. I wasn't always the greatest at doing that, mostly just racing, but I did buy like an Insta 360 over Black Friday thing, particularly, just to be able to record people. Like if you're behind me or in front of me, I can record you. And then I want to put the videos up on the YouTube channel and encourage any of the coaches that do that and work with people, because like seeing that third person perspective of yourself it's a lot, especially like, if Mark's following you and you guys are like great around most of the track, and then you can see where he's catching up to you, it gives you even more perspective of like, okay, what's he doing and what am I doing? These different things that we actually show you. So like I want to encourage the coaches to, if they have a camera, to run one and then give them access. They can just upload the thing onto the YouTube channel and, tag the person or send them the link so they can get that view, that third-person view, and really see stuff. Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it.
I definitely need to be better about cameras and filming. I'm looking at a helmet cam now. I have GoPros and stuff like that. I was looking at getting an Insta360, so that's definitely something I wanted to implement this year, not only for myself but for coaching purposes, so other people can see. Because there's a guy that I follow on YouTube that does a lot of videos. He does all his track days, he does all his races, and it's like, man, you can really see a lot. Like I watch him in New Jersey all the time, and like I have never been there, but I'm like, man, I'm pretty confident that I could run some pretty good lap times at New Jersey.
Yeah,
just
and I
from
think
watching his videos.
It'd be just a cool, beneficial thing for people, for the clients and stuff, that like they get to see that perspective. And it's one thing to follow them around the track, get off the track and talk to them and stuff, and say like, you're doing this here, but like to be able to physically just like show them on video, like, you see what you're doing here, and then be able to like point it out, particularly show it. It'll get that point across, and they'll visually see it, and then it'll make it a lot easier to correct.
Yeah.
Jaret?
Yeah, you guys were talking about going around the track, and turn 4 is a place I struggle at too. And yeah, the local guys will catch me in turn 4 a lot. And honestly, what I struggle with a lot is knowing where the limit of the grip is. And for some reason, I'm just really good at right-handers, and I'll rush into that carousel and just wide open throttle till I get to that tree and then roll it off. But going through turn 4, I mean, I don't know how you guys find the limit of the grip, especially 4 and not so bad through 12. But how do you guys find that limit? Where do you know? Do you go down? Do you crash? Because I really don't want to crash. I'm very fortunate. I did not go down at all in 2025, but I was down 4 times in 2024.
Don't jinx yourself.
Yeah, I know.
Stop.
I can say it now.
Don't do that.
On some wood.
I can say it now because 2025 is almost done.
Yeah.
And but I'm just maybe it's because I'm 58 years old and I don't want to go down and test my leathers anymore. But I'm struggling to find where the limit of that grip is. And how do you guys go about finding that limit?
I sneak up on it, that's for sure. I mean, I don't take the chances I used to anymore. That's definitely, I never been a big crasher. I had one, I crashed in Mid-Ohio this year one time. I had in the rain. They had a rain, and it's still, that place is treacherous in the wet. I had a really low side, but I sneak up on it, and I systematically, incrementally will increase. I'll also try different lines, like 4. I notice a lot of people come in, they cut in a lot sooner. I set up a lot wider and kind of cut across, but you got to kind of trust it. But again, I'll kind of systematically go through and inch it. Some of the young guys will just go in there and they'll wait till the front washes and save. I'm not doing that. I got a job Monday through Friday, and I'm not trying to push it to the limit. So I systematically will creep up on something, until I feel that I'm good, or at least I'm faster, but I'm not trying to take super crazy. It's different. Like when I'm riding a mini or something like that, you can feel it slide all over the place, and who cares? You're only going 20 miles an hour. I mean, good thing, turn 4, it's not super fast. So if you did crash there, it's not terrible,
Yeah, and there's a lot of camber in a track right there.
There's a ton. If you walk that is like a bowl, and a lot of people don't realize it. And I still think that I have a lot to go in 4. I felt that on the old track when it was bumpy and crappy, I felt that I went faster then. Now it's like I feel like I still have something there, and when I'm chasing someone, I'll throw some extra into 4, just to make up some time, because I'm usually on the gas a lot sooner than people in 4. So I'll usually make up a lot in 4. So when I'm exiting 4 and I'm going down that straight into the carousel, I typically will gain a lot there, or at least will not lose anymore. So Yeah, systematically just kind of sneak up on it, you know.
Just walk it up, huh?
Just sneak up on it, you know, everything. Or again, try to follow someone that, you know, that has a little bit more through there. You know, go out and maybe in between sessions, go out and watch another group, you know, take a bicycle and go out there and kind of watch. You can kind of see pretty decent there. So that's another thing you can do. I routinely do that. We'll go watch sections of the track on a bicycle. I'll go out and, you know, go sit up on the fence and I'll look and I'll watch people. And you can tell who's going fast. You can tell who's going slow. Watch the guys that are going fast and watch the guys that are going slow. They're probably on a different line. So that's something else you can do too.
You know, I'm kind of the same as Mark. Like I tell everybody, especially novices, I've always referenced back this. Like there's, like he said, there's people that go out there and they just like, they throw caution to the wind, and I'll reference my buddy that, you know, in the story I told earlier about, you know, he was faster than me and he's like, hey, we should start racing. Our first weekend racing, he completely just annihilated his R6 in his second race. I mean, like, the only thing that was left on it was good was the motor, and he did it in the carousel. I mean, he binned that thing like you wouldn't believe. I didn't crash and then got out of my provisional novice. Like, it takes me a little bit longer to get there, but it's all about, you know, okay, I'm comfortable with this pace, and then you notch it up and you're comfortable with this pace. Racing helps. You race. You obviously know that. But like I said earlier as well, like, the faster you go and the longer you're doing it, the more you'll have feel of what's going on underneath you. Where, like, when you first start riding a bike, you probably didn't even, like, you had really no feeling of what's going on, like how the suspension's working, what are the tires doing. But when you start having those moments and you get comfortable with it, those are the signs of that, of the limit. Now, the limit is definitely dependent on you, right? So, like, Rocco did 108s on a Ninja 400 around that track. I'm sure you're not running 108s on your bike.
Nowhere close to that.
Okay, so is the limit close for your bike? No. Probably not anywhere near it. Is the limit close for your particular skill set right now? Maybe. But it's all about feel and being comfortable with how that feels underneath you. Like, I remember doing the 2-hour endurance races with Lean on my little Duke 390 and the ultra lightweight, and endurance races are great because you get so much time on the bike, lap after lap after lap, and learning different things, and the tire degrades over time, so the track becomes different as you ride, and the difficulty for traction, and you can start to feel loss of traction as it goes on. But I remember going through turn one on that little 390 on like Pirellis that I rode probably like 4 sprint races and 3 endurances on. So they were pretty used up, but they still had grip because those little bikes don't use tires. But I went through one and I remember sliding the entire bike. I slid the rear a little bit or whatever, or maybe pushed the front, but like 2-wheel slid the entire thing and it was stable. And I was like, holy shit. Like, it's not as freaky as I thought. It's the overreaction to stuff that usually gets you in trouble where you crash, even like subconsciously. The front starts to go a little bit. Like, Marc Marquez can save everything. I mean, we're not Marc Marquez for sure, obviously, but like when things like that happen, we have a tendency, you know, even now I do, to like overreact on something like, oh shit, you know, and you'll grab the brake or maybe try to make an adjustment that will cause the crash because, like, it may not have low-sided or done this or that if you didn't react the way you reacted. And a lot of people, I think that may be the reason why a lot of people go, I don't know why I crashed. Well, we don't really know, but it's just like a reaction, a survival reaction when you feel something that's, you know, coming. It's just we don't know those feelings yet, so we don't know how to react to those feelings or whatever. But, like, as you continue riding and get faster or whatever, you're going to start having all this situation where you'll feel that slide going. Is there a way to, like, train for that? There is, and that would be minis is a great one, like Bolitnikov said, or flat track, a lot of guys ride flat track where you just feel that loss of traction and you can get a sense of what that feels like. It's not exactly the same, but the loss of traction feel underneath you is what would, you'll have that feeling of that. It's different from dirt to pavement, but like still, you still kind of get that. But like the minis are great because you can feel the loss of traction on a very lower scale, very lower speeds, but it's still that sense of what that feels like when you start to tuck the front and the bars kind of move underneath you and you're like, oh shit, like that first time you're going to crash 100%, but now you have that feeling of it. Next time through, you might not react the same way and be able to just let it do its thing and then continue on. But it's just doing it, having the feeling, and then being comfortable with it. I mean, I just point to this shit all the time. There's just the skill set of yourself is your limit. The bike can do way more. Even your bike can do way more than what we can do. I mean, it takes a very special person to 100% utilize a bike's capability. And it's, so the limit is very high for the bike, but it fluctuates depending on your skill level.
Okay.
If I can add something, you mentioned like kart tracks and whatnot. I took my bike out to Quaker City kart track in October 2 times, and that taught me a shitload of like control of feeling how loose the bike can get or losing grip in the tire and not overreacting and kind of just like flowing with everything, or even like kind of backing it in slightly, like because I feel like me at the start of the season, I would try and counter steer in high side almost every time, but easing into it and just lap after lap of losing control, that taught me a whole lot that I'm excited to throw into like bigger tracks next year.
Cool.
I guess it's my turn.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. All right, Justin.
Alrighty. So as someone who's never raced WERA or any club racing at all, I know in past years Nelson's had like a license or a race school day. I didn't see anything on the schedule this past year, but someone the other day said there was something and it was kind of down on the wraps, but I don't know how true that is. But what are like the first steps into getting your license and pursuing into getting into racing and whatnot? Because I'm trying to get into it this year. I have a couple buddies that are, and we don't really know where to start. The forums it's a cluster.
They're not very helpful.
No.
WERA, I know when WERA comes to Nelson's, they typically do a Saturday morning, kind of throw you to the wolves kind of thing, So they do a morning thing where you kind of go through their clue, you go to the class, they kind of give you a t-shirt, here you go kind of thing. Some organizations do it with Friday practice and kind of then you set you up for a Saturday. So it just depends on where you're going and where you want to be. I think June they did, I don't know if they did it in the August or like the end of the year event, but I think they did it in the June event at Nelson's. So it's typically like a Saturday morning thing, you pre-register kind of thing. And if you look at like a schedule for WERA, I know they post it like a rider school kind of thing. They'll have it as one of the groups, and they only do it on a Saturday. They won't do it on a Sunday. So it's usually the first day of that doubleheader weekend. So if you make it through both days, you can get to take off your t-shirt kind of thing. So I mean, if you want, after this, I could always, kind of look at the schedule and kind of tell you when it's going to be. But we wouldn't know until they actually post the schedule. So a couple weeks or a month out, before the event, and they post on WERA or other organizations, they'll have that, because I'll probably be doing some ASRA this year too. So, I'm gonna actually try to hit a couple Moto America rounds. So, every organization's different. So,
Yeah, I don't know if we'll have a race school this year or not. I know last year we didn't. Talk to Malachar. It'll definitely be, if we're doing them, it'll be on the schedule that we'll be offering it. The couple things I could say is look at the rule book, look at the regulation stuff as far as, what we require safety wiring stuff for advance is different from what WERA ask or ASRA ask. Where I always think that like you should be race wired fully for advance. We don't require a full race safety wire, but there are things that you wouldn't expect, like a steering dampener. is required, which is weird. I mean, I don't think that all bikes need them, but like it is a requirement with Wera. Do they always check? No, they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one on my bike, and I absolutely don't need it.
Yeah, and like, so they're weird. Like, they may not even look to see if you have a steering dampener, but they will tell you that your exhaust bolt hanger bracket for your exhaust isn't safety wired, which is just ridiculous to me. Like and it all depends on the person teching the bike, if they're carrying that day, or how meticulous they are. Some people are very meticulous and will follow by the book. Other people are pretty lax. Other organizations, I would imagine they're probably just dependent on the person. But as far as you do your race school and stuff, the one thing I could tell you is like, be prepared. A race day, like especially Wera, it goes so fast. I mean, even if there's 4 races ahead of you, it's crazy how quickly they go. And the next thing you know, they're calling the calls. And if you don't have your gear and your shit on, you're rushing like crazy, because you have to be out there at a specific time to do the warm-up lap, or you're just not starting on the grid. So, like, it is a very fast-paced day. Tim has done it. Jaret's done it. Me and Mark's done it. We can go into in depth more, or talk to somebody at the track to like go over the whole day, because like it is very intimidating. The way they do the flags and the board, and sometimes it gets confusing when they combine different classes because there's a low turnout for certain classes. Next thing you know, you thought you were race 3 and now you're race 7, or you were race 7 and you're waiting for that, but now you're race 3. There's so much little things. It goes so quick. You just got to pay attention to know what's going on, and everybody will give you like little tips and tricks on things. Like, I always put a piece of tape on my gas tank and mark like where my grid spot is, so I won't forget. Race 1, I'm row 2 far left. Race 5, I'm row 2 middle, or whatever it is, because like you'll forget, what I mean. But hopefully we'll run the race school. A lot of people were asking about it last year, and then it was just Wera who did it, and they passed those 2 guys. That one guy, the guys on the thousands, remember those guys that were just crashing like crazy, Mark?
Yeah.
That was oh man, what a shit show that was. And they did novice with us on Friday, and then they were racing Sunday.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have been on track.
No. That one guy, he went off 2 times in my group in novice. And I was like, dude, you're gonna kill yourself.
Yeah, he crashed during the race. I think one guy completely totaled his bike. The other one crashed, but I don't think it totaled it. But
well, I think the ambulance was out there on that for the one. I mean, it was
that wasn't him. It was a different guy.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, man! You know what? It was, because there was twice. The one big crash wasn't that guy. There's another one. They saw the ambulance out there, but yeah. I think
didn't one of them go off in the kink? Like
that wasn't him. That was a different guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty.
It was his first race weekend, but that guy wasn't the guy that. Yeah.
Definitely. Another thing to add to that too, if you are looking to race and you're gonna, get a couple buddies, if you guys, like you were saying, a couple buddies are thinking about doing it, or link up and pit with a racer. I have plenty of power. Ryan has power. Ryan has 6 people in his pit. And that way they can kind of coach you through. Hey, you might want to get your leathers on. You might want. We've been there so many times that like now it's just I have my leathers on. Usually a race and a half before. I know the times. And usually, like, one of my races gets red flagged before because there's a 600 group in front of us. So, again, knowing, hey, I know they're on lap 4. I know if it gets red flagged, I know I'm going out. I know they're not going to restart that. So, like, little things that, but again, pit with someone that knows what they're doing. I mean, everyone will let you do it. I would let you pit with me. I don't care.
Yeah. And also, like, I usually have, like he said, not 6, but I usually have maybe 3 or 4 people that, pit right next to me or under my canopy. And if we're not in the same like race together, like we'll do each other's tire warmers, so you don't have to worry about that. You just get your gear on, get on the bike, get it started, and wait for that one, whatever call it is, and then we'll yank the warmers off for you and get you going. So it's just one less thing to worry about. You know what I mean? So it's what he recommends definitely like, and I would let you pit with us and give you help because like I would have loved that when I started racing to be with somebody who knew what the hell they were doing. It would have been fantastic. So
I feel like it's a big jump.
It's not
it's
that big.
It's a lot to worry about.
It's just the fast paced day, man, and like to not know anything. It's good to have somebody there to give you some guidance and some help for sure.
There's definitely no roadmap for it. I mean, I've been doing it so long, and no one's ever helped me. I'm willing to help you. Ryan's willing to help you because there's so much going on and going through your head that you're worried about not crashing, and then you're worried about tire warmers. You're worried about, did you put gas in? Did you there's always something. You need to kind of narrow it down and focus on riding and people with you. I always bring someone with me to the track. Someone that, my girl, she always helps with the tire warmer. She always helps gas. She always gets me. I forget to eat. I forget to drink stuff. She was always shoving stuff in my face because you're not thinking about what's important. Staying hydrated, having food, staying cool, putting a washcloth on your neck, getting some water. There's a lot of things going on. Bring someone with you. Pit with someone that does it all the time and watch what they do. Yeah, don't try to just figure it out on your own because there is no roadmap. There's no rule book. There's no instruction guide for it. So these guys.
There is a rule book. There is a rule book. Come on now.
Not for how to go race though.
No.
What to do to your bike, but definitely not when to warm up, when to do this, when to get on your bike, pit with someone that knows how to do it, and everyone will help you. I promise you. There's not, just not just us.
Even with registration and tech and everything, knowing what to do, because you'll forget. I didn't bring. You probably wouldn't know. Got to bring your license. And then when you get up there, you're not bringing your bike up at first. You're going to go up there and register and stuff, then go get your bike, and you have to bring a specific paper to tech and all this. So, just the whole freaking day. At least once, have somebody that knows what they're doing. It will make your day, your first time, so much better.
I see it at track days and I see it at races. You go to race and you go to registration. Are you in the right line? There's two lines. There's pre-registration. There's regular registration. Same thing. You go to fast track. You know how many people I see come to tech as soon as the gate opens at 7, and I'm like, okay, where's your sticker? Did you register yet? No. All right, well, get it out of here. Go, come back, register first. This is people. They're not paying. They're just like, man, he just wants to get on track at 7 a.m. Like, dude, we're not going anywhere till 8:30. I don't know what you're doing. Yeah. So.
Awesome.
Tim.
I don't have any more questions, but I'll just, if I could add on to that, because I'm a new Wira guy as of a year and a half ago. And day one was no idea. When I finally did bring the bike to tech, I had forgotten to take the bottom panel off. Wira makes you take the bottom body panel off. Fast Tracks doesn't. I had forgotten my leathers and my helmet. They want to see all that stuff. I didn't know that. I didn't have the paper that Ryan mentioned I needed. It's you just feel lost because it's a whole different world. Actually, getting on the track's the easiest part. You know how to do what to do there. There's just other bikes closer to you, but it's not that big of a deal. It's all the procedural things that you don't know anything about. But after day one, you're good. Really, it's just getting through that first day of seeing it and doing it. But actually, I had those couple questions I asked you guys, and I don't have any more that I can think of right now.
Okay. Jaret?
Yeah, I'll add on a little bit more to that race thing too. Is I was fortunate enough to go to the track with someone with another R3 that was, that I was going to be racing with, that knew what to do. And, so I went up, and I tell you, I was really, really worried about my bike not passing tech. Getting everything safety wired. I probably went through that list about 8 times before I even, drove out that weekend. But yeah, getting someone with you just to show you the rounds, or maybe even going to a race beforehand. I think in this area is Grattan and Nelson Ledges. I don't know where else we're races around here, but those are the closest two to me. But anyways, on to question here. is I've been on a small bike since I started. And in fact, I have an R3 also that I ride on the road. So I've never ridden anything bigger. And all the coaches I work with were just so happy that I started on a small bike.
Absolutely.
And, I'm running 119s and 120s around Nelson ledges.
Pretty damn good on
So not
R3.
great,
Yeah.
or not perfect, but I got some room for improvement. And I got tons of people telling me, "Oh, you need to move up to the next. You need to move up bigger bike. You need to move a bigger bike." Well, personally, I like not spending money on tires.
You and
'Cause
Betcher are probably best friends.
yeah, I get about 5 days out of a set of tires, and that's the limit. Sometimes 4. When I first started, I was getting 8 and 10. But when is a good time for someone to move up in a bigger bike? Should they be looking at a lap time? Should they be looking at a skill set? Should they be saying, "Hey, I just want to get out of novice and move to intermediate or advanced, so I get faster lap times to get in"? What's a good time for someone to move up in bike size?
I say,
Go ahead, Mark.
I say when you're bored with the bike.
Oh.
That's something to look at. Like if you're bored with the power, um, your lap times don't sound like you're at the limit of the bike, but I would definitely suggest like if you're bored with the power and you want to push that speed a little bit more, that get that fire burning a little bit more, maybe move up to something else. Um,
Okay.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
because
suggest moving up to 1,000.
no, not that high.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've
Oh,
I've got a lot of room for improvement,
Mhm.
and honestly, I'm having a lot of fun trying to get the bike to go faster. And when I pick up half a second to a second, I'm really, really happy. And I'm playing around with suspension a little bit more, making things stiffer, softer.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just so
So
frustrating when people
I'll
say
ask
to
you
me,
that question though. Do you want to move up or are you listening to other people?
I don't really want to move up. I
Then don't.
wanna beat all the Ninja 400s with my bike.
That would be a good carrot. That's a good motivation.
Yeah, because I
You
I
know?
got I got a motor I'm building that because Weir allows me to do a couple things that
Okay.
ASRA and other organizations don't. So I
Okay.
have a stock motor and I have a GYTR motor that's getting a
Okay.
piston upgrade.
Cool.
So I'll just move up to super stock E versus F and then
Okay.
maybe D. But
Don't
yeah,
touch that master cylinder because that's a hot topic these days. All right.
yeah.
yeah, that's the
Stupid is
big
what
joke
that
going
is.
on. I'm actually on the original, and I put a new rebuild kit into it, and it's fine. I'm 145 pounds. I'm not a big person.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I,
but
I would say just do with what you're comfortable. If you want to get a bigger bike, step up. It's the only thing it's going to offer you is it's going to be harder to work. So if you want to work harder, that's any bigger bike, whether it's a twin, whether it's 600, whether it's 1,000, it's going to be harder to ride. So I mean, you're on the bike that you could ride all day long, and you're probably not going to be sore. You step up to anything like an SV, anything, you're going to be working harder. So you're going to be, you're going to be using a lot more energy. So if that's something you want to factor into, and if you want to go faster, great. But keep in mind, you're going to be working harder because the bike is going to be heavier. It's going to be harder to throw in. It's going to be hard to get out of the turn. So you're going to have a
okay,
whole other learning process of suspension, tires, setup, everything like that. So, before you go ahead and plunk down $4,000 to $5,000 on something, make sure that you're going to be riding harder. So the one thing
okay,
I could suggest that before you go buy something, try someone else's bike, something you're thinking about riding or trying out. Maybe, hey, mind if I go out this session on this? You want to ride my R3? You break it, you buy it, kind of thing. But that's a good way to kind of test, you know, another bike. And before you go down that road of buying something, like, do I like having to muscle around a bike a little bit more? Because I mean, R3 is going to be the easiest bike in the world to ride. You could ride that thing all day long, and I'd probably ride it all day, not miss a session, and be like next day, be like, woo, all right, let's do that again. But you go ride an endurance race on a SV 4 hours, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, my shoulder. You wake up the next day, you're stiff, and I'm sure Ryan riding his Aprilia versus Ducati. He rides at Ducati. He's like mentally drained. He's physically drained because the bike, is just so much faster, so much harder to move. So be prepared. You're going to be working a lot harder.
Okay, yeah, I've had friends say, "Oh, aren't you tired after riding all day?" I'm like,
No.
no, not really.
Yeah, that bike is so flickable compared to other things. And that's where you like your right, left, your 12 and 13. That's where you kind of get those, you're going to get those like same thing. Your 4 to the carousel, you're getting those different turns and stuff like that. I remember like I used to ride for an endurance team and we rode SVs, and a first gen compared to a second gen SV was like, it was night and day. Same bike, but a newer gen with that, from a trellis frame to the box frame. It made a huge difference. And then we ended up switching to the Kawasaki 650R. And I was like, oh my God, I could ride this thing all day. It's so flickable. It's so easy. It was like night and day. I was like, why didn't we get this? Why is it so hard to ride an SV? So just keep in mind, R3 is like the most flickable, easiest thing to ride. You're going to be working a lot harder on anything you get. So,
Okay.
Yeah. And
I say just buy the leader bike. No, I'm just playing. I agree,
No.
and I also commend you for starting out on a small bike because like I had an RSV4 when when I came back to riding the track, and like I love that bike. It's probably still one of my favorite bikes, if not my favorite. My 660's tied up there with it, but when I started racing, I'm like, well, I don't want to race leader bikes. Like, I don't know what that's going to be like, whatever. So, I bought that 390 and it taught me so much. I learned more on that small bike than I could have ever learned on anything else because you can't fake bad stuff on a small bike. You can't make it up with the throttle down the back straight. Like, it forces you to carry corner speed. And if you could carry corner speed on a bike that has tires that are, 3 inches, and the amount of grip you have there, think of what you have on a 600 or, newer twin that have a 180 rear tire and a 120 front. You're probably riding like a 110, 140 setup.
Yep,
There's
exactly.
way less rubber there. And it just really puts it in perspective. Like there's a ton of grip there. And it's not the most, innovative bike. It's a commuter, low end bike, and yet you can do some amazing stuff on it. So when you get on something that's got a little bit more high tech, it's got better, bigger tires on it, more grip, etc. It just puts in perspective like that you should definitely be able to go faster on it. Not just because it's faster, but because it's just a much improved chassis, geometry, tires, suspension, etc. But like learning that you have to have that corner speed and keep that corner speed up, and there's no power to make up that difference, man. It teaches you so much, and it annoys me when people are like, I'm not riding, like they won't even get on like a twin. They're like, no, 600, whatever.
Oh, I love
like,
riding it.
Yeah. So I'm a complete agreement with him. Like, if you don't want to go to something else and you enjoy riding it, stay with it. It's nobody else's but your choice, right? So like, and
Right.
There's people to race in those classes. So yeah, like just do whatever you want to do. It's cheaper to maintain. It's cheaper to buy, tires, etc. Instead of like I have to put a new rear on every like weekend with the Ducati. So like I'm usually a rear a weekend, and then every other weekend it's a rear and a front. So it's like it's not cheap, and the big bike tires are quite a bit more expensive than the little bike tires. But I did that to myself. So you'll eventually, at some point, you'll want to go a little bit faster, I assume. But if not, like Betcher still rides that R3 around all the time. There's people that they just love the bikes, and I will definitely say, and I've said this to Tim a couple times too, it is way more rewarding to go fast on a slow bike.
yes.
I'm only 1 second slower on my 660, which makes 100 horsepower. My Ducati, and this is wheel, my Aprilia is built, but it makes 100 wheel horsepower. My Ducati makes 195 wheel horsepower. I'm 1 second faster on it.
Oh, wow.
I've only ridden it this past year, and I don't know how many in because the radiator got a rock or whatever started leaking, but still, like, I'm still not comfortable on it. But I feel in my head like I should already be 2 seconds faster. But just, it's like he said, everything comes at you quicker. It's harder to ride. It more physically exhausting, mentally exhausting, everything. And it's
mentally big.
Yeah, it's just way more rewarding to ride a slow bike faster. But there comes a time when you want to maybe go faster than do it. But like whatever you feel comfortable with and whatever you enjoy, that's your preference. Ain't nobody else's.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't give in to peer pressure, man.
Do it. Justin.
I got a follow-up question to that. So
Ducati. Oh, no,
I'm already kind of facing that direction, but I'm 6'5", and being on a 600, I don't know if it's because my body, like I have fully adjustable rear sets, clip-ons, everything. I still feel crossed up and like too big for this thing. Would you say a 1K would be the correct answer?
I say no. I say you need to set the bike up correctly for you. If it's getting positive offset clip-ons that move the bars more forward so you have more room, putting your rear sets down a little bit and back, add a tank extender. There's just so many different things. Get to the point to where you're comfortable on the bike. Matthew Skoltz is freaking tall as shit, and on that R9, which is not a very big bike, he looks like a giant on that bike. But it works for him, and he can, use his height advantage or whatever as leverage. But you need to get the bike set up for you. I think that's a lot of things that people don't do. Like they think, okay, I'm going to set this stuff here, and then they ride the bike like that and they get used to it. But there's a more comfortable setup there. If you don't feel like you fit on it or whatever, there's definitely room for adjustment. You just got to take the time, try different things, try different bar setups, try different positions on the rear sets, whatever, and just see to where it gets comfortable. There you'll be able to set that bike up correctly. Getting a 1K doesn't mean that it's any bigger as far as the ergonomic room. Like, no. It just really doesn't.
And I think your modern 1000s, like the bikes that have been the last 5 years, your thousands, I think some of them are so thin and they're not taller. Yeah, they're not any taller bike. They're just kind of compact engine and stuff. But like your 08 compared to like a modern 1000, it's going to be, I bet you the modern 1000 is probably smaller than your 08. So you're not going to gain anything. Ryan hit it right on the head. You got to get more comfortable on that bike. Yeah. Because you're not going to learn more on 1000 until you've tapped out that 600. You're not going to learn anything more on 1000. If anything, you might regress in your learning curve.
Right, Tim?
I can attest to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Justin, I have a 25 R1, and it's not any more room than my 675 was. Right. You'd think it'd be a bigger bike, but it's just not. And what Mark just said, I'm slower on my R1 than I was on my 675 because I'm still in that learning curve of trying to figure out how to ride it. Yeah. I had this conversation with Ryan privately a while ago. It's a lot more of a difference than I thought it would be.
Too much
in more ways.
Yeah.
The biggest one is, it's a whole different riding style because everything happens so fast. But physically, I'm gassed when I ride that bike. I mean, I was like, I got to get in shape because the 675, I had more brakes. There's no brakes in the R1. You come out of 13 and you're at 1. Boom, it's now. There's no rest. On the kink, you're doing 150 something miles an hour. There's no resting. You have to be on top of that bike at all times. So I don't think I was prepared for that fully. It's a great bike, but man, the learning curve is steep when you go to a leader bike.
Yeah.
And even Ryan said he's kind of gassed when he gets off that Ducati.
No, I am not I am 100% wiped.
It takes a lot out of you.
It does.
It was disappointing to me because I spent all this money and I built this bike myself and I'm slower. So it's like, what am I doing, But that's it's part of the learning curve. I'm hoping that in 26, I get over that.
Yeah.
I'll get my big bike phase out of me, and I'll probably go back to a 600 or something.
Yes.
I
Well,
mean,
actually, like I was telling you guys before, I was actually supposed to get an R9 this year, and then I couldn't get one, so I opted for the R1. I figured let's get that 1000 cc era out of my out of the way, and then I'll. But it's tough. It really is.
Yeah, mentally too. Just processing the speed and it's so much harder. I mean, when I see crashes, I don't know. I pay attention. There's a lot of 1000s guys that crash because those corners and those turns and everything else comes up so much faster. So you have to be so much more precise. So
there's less room for error. Yeah, because everything happens so quickly. Yeah.
Yep. So I don't think you're going to learn anymore. You will probably regress, but it could be different. I mean, you might go a little bit faster, but chances are you probably won't.
I don't know. I've had like people tell me, just like having the peace of mind of all the assists and electronics.
You could still crash. I have like legitimately have the most technologically advanced bike. I have the 25 V4 with like Ducati DVO and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
There's 2 other people I know that have that exact same bike. The one guy crashed twice and it got totaled out. He's now on like a 698 mono and R6. And there was another guy that crashed his. I think I'm the only one locally that hasn't crashed their new Ducati yet. So, which I almost did. But, yeah, it's...
I think I witnessed one of them at Mid-Ohio that you're probably talking about.
Yeah, he did crash at Mid-Ohio and then he crashed at Pitt.
That thing was destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle, right?
Kyle, that Kyle crashed at Mid-Ohio and Pitt, but the one you're talking about, Mark, is a different guy. He's a little bit older guy, but yeah, Kyle's the one that I was referencing. I actually bought his stock wheels because he put forged ones on it, and then after he crashed it, whatever. So I have his stalkers as backups now. But Jaret, anything? You got any more questions, bud?
Just a little technical thing, like there's a lot of times, or most of the time out on a track, you've got the cones for your apex.
Don't use that because they're not set in the same place every time. But
yeah, and that's what I was gonna get into is I've seen them walk around a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, going into the carousel, I use that big ass tree. Coming into it. So, I mean, I'm nailed going to the tree, and then I'm halfway, and let the bike push out a little bit, then let it fall down into coming out of that turn onto the straight. How do you guys find brake markers and apexes and exit cones? How do you go about finding that?
Okay. I mean, it's been so long. Like I've ridden the track so many freaking times. It's very hard. But like, you just make references, right? So like, when I first learned the track or whatever, obviously following somebody, following a coach, whatever it is, you're seeing where they're going. You're automatic. You're paying more attention to the coach than anything. But you need to start once you get comfortable with the track, to start making a reference. So like, that coach turns in what's nearby that isn't moving. Like and doing a track walk helps too, because you can even pick out things on the pavement. Or if you talk to any of us, like, oh, where are you braking at here? And they'll say, oh, well, I'm braking at, like, for instance, into one. Like, okay, I'm going under the bridge. The blend line comes when I'm at like the third checkered piece, because it's a solid line. Then it starts going dots. With that third dot, that's when I'm start getting on the brake some.
Okay.
Or, into 4, there's a particular place I know, where the first patch starts. Like, I'm doing my braking straight up and down. I don't trail into that corner. So I'm doing all my braking straight up and down, but maybe, I don't know, 5 feet or 10 feet before, and it's not a lot of brake. It's just to set the front end. And I kind of know where that is. But, like, when you ride a track so much, then it just becomes so automatic where you just almost forget where – you just know. You know what I mean? It's like you're going, and then it's just like it just happens. But
yeah, you got a lot of feel to it, and you just kind of know.
Yep.
Yeah. I pick points on the track. I don't pick points, trees, and stuff. I don't do that unless, like Road Atlanta, what he said. I'll pick that middle dot, as I'm shooting for that middle dot when I go into the bridge. But for the most part, I pick stuff on the track because the stuff on the track never moves. It's always in the same spot. I'll look for a line. I'll look for something because if you pick a tree or something else, unless you're passing it, if you're on the inside of the track or you're on the outside of the track, that tree can be in different, it can be different. So I don't typically pick things. I pick, something on the side of the track. When I pass that tree or that I pass that sign, I'll do it. But I always try to look for things on the track. And then after that, it's all feel, like Ryan says. It's all feel. I mean, every lap is different, especially if you're racing, because if you're following or you're trying to get a different look, you're trying to get a different line. So it never changes, and you're just glancing at those things. But you also got to remember, the faster you're going, the further out you're looking. So I'm not looking in front of me at that. Oh, there's that skid mark. No, I'm looking at, the faster you're going, the faster the turn, the further out you're looking in that turn.
Yeah. And
so you're not looking at your front wheel. You're looking out.
When we say like, oh, there's, crack in the pavement or something like that, or whatever it may be, like, yeah, you can't see it from 50 yards, but you know where it's at because you've done it so many times that like you just know that vicinity and your eyes will go to that spot. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, you have the eyes in your butthole that you felt. You felt that crack, or yeah, you're not typically looking at spots, and I don't. I just don't do it. I don't look out into the horizon. I look at track, where are they at? I'm planning where they're going. So I do a lot of mid corner change direction kind of thing. I dive under people a lot. It's just one of those things. It's all feel. I think the faster you get, the more feel, because you still have more pace, so you'll start to feel it more with repetition too. The more repetition, the more you'll feel that spot. Like, I mean, I ran an endurance at Nelson's in the dark, and all we have was headlights. So we had it was 6 hour, I think, or something, 8 hour endurance, half during the day and half at night. It ended at midnight. I mean, it was dark. It was dark, and our lights sucked on our bike. And I was within 2 seconds, I think, on our lap times. And Nelson gets dark. There's no street lights. There's no nothing. There was nothing out there. So, yeah, and just because of repetition. So,
Justin.
Yes, sir.
Get anything else, sir?
Let me check. I might. I got a funny one, I guess.
Okay.
I like humor.
Knee puck recommendations, because I'd be burning through those with my long ass legs.
Okay. Well, here's one thing: is pull your knee up, touch and pull your knee up. But the ones that I've used that have lasted the longest and they're freaking, I think they feel really good too. Bison sells. I mean, sure, other people do too, but they make wood pucks, and they're freaking awesome, dude. Like, they last forever. I mean, I went an entire season. Now I tend to try to pick my knee up more now, but still, I could never get through a season with regular pucks. And dude, those things are freaking amazing.
Yeah, I've heard good things. I just haven't heard it from anyone personally.
I use the Clucky pucks from Woodcraft.
Also,
and I use a rain height too. I don't use a flatter. I'm more of a like touch and kind of like Ryan said, lift your leg. I'm a dab and go. Like, if you looked at my suit, you looked at my pucks, you'd be like, Jesus, this dude doesn't even get down. Like, I just don't. I'm more the way I ride. I'm not a big knee drag kind of guy, but I do like. I don't like the hard plastic stuff that comes on most suits. So I like the Clucky. They seem to have more grip. Because some of your sliders are really slippery, and I don't feel like Ryan probably likes the Woodman's because maybe he can feel grip, and I feel like I can get it, and it kind of helps me pull. So yeah, just try stuff.
And the people behind you with the wood ones, I've always been told it smells like a campfire. It literally smells like burning wood when you get off track, and it'll smoke. It's crazy, but they have good feel, and they last forever, man.
Yeah, I'll have to do that because I think it was my first time out this year, and I had some new fresh stuff with the bike. I was feeling really comfortable, and like just around the carousel for one session, I come back and my puck's gone. I'm like, all right, well, that's partially my fault, but
yeah, you'll get over that real quick. You'll start to go, pucks aren't really that cheap, and also like when you start getting to the point where you don't really pay much attention. Next thing you know, you're burning through your suit. Been there, done that.
Yeah.
Put holes near the Velcro and shit, and yeah. Touch and then just, you know.
I'm a dab and lift.
Yep.
Yeah.
Justin, I'm like Mark. My first year, I burned through pucks. It was like a badge of honor, you know.
Yeah.
You wanted to show up to the riders meeting with that. When I bought my second set of pucks, they've been on my suit for 3 years now, and they're barely touched because I just when I touch, I like Mark said, you know, I use it as a reference, and then I pull my leg back in.
Mhm.
You know, I you don't really need to drag it. You know, it's
No.
a reference point, really. You know,
I mean, racers, you look at like professional racers, some guys go through pucks every session. Like Anthony Gobert was a guy that would go through a set of pucks every session. Colin Edwards, you know, world champion, both world champions, but he's a dab and go kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I've never since 2000 or 1994, I have never burned through a set of pucks ever. So
You got to get faster.
Yeah.
they're expensive.
Yeah.
They are.
I actually, there was a guy at Nelson's that was parked next to us. I'm like, you got any pucks? He's like, $20. You can have them. I'm like, all right. So
I sold a set at the last race. So I need some puck. I'm like, yeah, here's my bison pucks.
Oh, I had to give what was left of my wood ones to what's his name, Rocco. He didn't have any pucks. I was like, yeah, you can just take these. He's like, give me at the next Moto America round. I'm like, yeah, like you'll freaking remember me in a year and a half or some shit. Whatever. I'm like, just keep them. I don't give a shit. Anybody else? Jaret, you got another question? No? Justin?
Yeah. No, not really.
Nothing, Tim? Good?
No more questions. Thanks, guys.
I have one question for you guys, all of you. If you've been watching the videos and stuff, are you enjoying them? Is it bringing any value to you at all? I'm looking. It's been pretty positive feedback so far. But like I said, I do this as I don't make money off of it. It takes up quite a bit of time. Shit, we've been doing this for an hour and 46, plus the 20 minutes before. And, getting the communication, setting things up with people and whatever. If people stop enjoying it, I'll just stop doing it. But I just kind of want to get your feedbacks if you guys have been, watching any of this stuff and if you've gotten any value from it.
Yeah.
I think that it's really coming into Nelson Ledge's first track I've ever raced last year. I had no idea what track riding was going to be about, anything like that. And now seeing all the coaches, like Marty, for an example, everyone loves Marty. I think it's really hard to hate the guy. But he was my first coach at Nelson's. And I think just his interview and all that stuff, being able to kind of just listen to everyone's story, it kind of just makes one I'm not going to say a family environment, but it makes everyone feel comfortable and welcome.
Cool.
And it gives a lot
Good
of
to hear.
insight to beginners and, people that want to get into the sport.
Yeah, I mean, that was the main target to begin with is when you go to an organization, you're signing for a track day, you don't know anybody, right? So I wanted to do something a little bit different that I haven't seen done before where you get to kind of know the person and what they're about. And everybody's just so, with fast tracks, it seems everybody's just really invested in helping. And, you don't know that unless you start to talk to them. And I also think maybe it will help with people being able to ask more questions because they've, got to hear their stories and got to know a sense of the person and their personality and stuff. And it'll make it people more approachable. Not that they shouldn't be, approachable to begin with, because I think we all are. But when you have a little bit of that more sense of who the person is and what they're about, it just makes it a little bit easier. So, I mean, that's, that was the main goal of this to begin with.
I completely agree. I want to be approachable. I want Ryan to be approachable. I want Adam, everyone, Tim, everyone. I want you guys to come and seek us out and get the most out of your track day experience. whether it's a technical question, whether it's a, hey, I forgot my pump or my gauge, or like we want to be there to help you. And, we want you safe, number one, but we want you to enjoy it. Because if you enjoy it, you're going to come back. If you come back, you're going to bring friends. If you bring friends, you have more fun, So, I mean, we definitely, that's definitely the goal. We want you guys to, well, hopefully we answer the questions and hopefully we provide some kind of insight and guidance, but yeah, definitely ultimate at the end of the day. What do you guys like? Do you guys like the humor? Do you like the technical aspect of it? Do you like the, I mean, what have you guys liked the most out of these?
Yeah, I mean, I like the technical aspect of it. That's just what I like. Keeps me engaged, but right now I'm actually on indoor bike season. So I
Okay.
race at a velodrome.
Oh, really?
And
Okay, that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. So I mean, that's my big thing right now. But this keeps me engaged on this, so I don't forget. So I can remember to listen to Ken Hill's work, podcast
Okay,
before I come to the tracks. So I don't forget all the stuff that I've worked on all last summer over the winter.
cool,
And that's what I use it for.
cool.
Tim?
There's a couple of things for me. One was like what Just said, just learning about the different coaches and stuff. Like I didn't know a lot of things about these people. Steve Deshay was, Mark. I haven't talked to you much at all, and then I watched your interview. I've watched them all, so I learned a lot about that. So I think it's going to be helpful when I do talk to these people in person.
Yeah.
But the other thing is I learned a lot of stuff about like when everyone like which corners the worst corner or techniques, and I've already got ideas for 26. About what I need to do, what I want to do. Like I said, so it's helped in that way too. Like Jared just said, the technical part. So yeah, I think they're helpful.
At least you're thinking though, like you're engaged. You're thinking about next year.
Yeah.
You're same thing. Jared, you're thinking about the same thing. I think the big thing in getting different coaches and doing stuff, and you guys watching these videos, I want you to find someone that you relate to. Whether because I'm different than Ryan, Ryan's different than me, Adam, like all these different guys, all the coaches are completely different. I don't think there's any one of us that are exactly the same. So, finding someone that you relate to and maybe trying different people too. Try Ryan, try me, there's a lot of different things and there's more than one way around the track. Ryan said it several times, so yeah, try to get bits and pieces. Maybe you get all your knowledge from Ryan and maybe I give you something to think about when you're off the track, maybe fitness wise or something, or prep before you get to the track, or, you pick up something from another guy that's like, his entry point or something like, hopefully you're getting something from all of us and we're providing some kind of nugget of, wealth of information.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming on, being a part of this, taking part out of your day to, do this stuff. And, like I said, as long as people are enjoying it, keep doing it. It's hard. We got more coaches than you think. It's hard to get a hold of some of them, and some of them just don't want to even be on video or whatever. I've been lucky so far to have as many as I did. I have, I think, 2 or 3 more that are already uploaded, but they just release weekly. So those ones will be coming out here, next weeks or whatever. And then I'm kind of dried up on the coaches thing, which kind of sucks. So hopefully I can get some more set up. And then I'll be doing, we have a new vendor for next year that should be doing an interview with here, I don't know, in the next couple weeks. Dave Piscone is his name, and he does like body work and will paint and your body work and stuff like that. Really fantastic work. So yeah, hopefully I'll keep getting content. I like doing things like these as well. Like the coach thing was the initial whole idea behind this, but I think this is a really great thing that, kind of got started, and being able to answer you guys' questions, because, people ask questions, on Facebook or whatever, but it's just so hard to just type a response, and to get, like, again, with me and Mark, we get, we agree on some stuff, and maybe we have different perspective on things, and we've had different experience stuff, so it's good. And like for one of you guys to ask a question, and you go, oh, shit, I didn't even think about that. Now you get that answered. So hopefully it provides some value for people. But I do thank everyone who comes on and participates with this, because some people just may not want to, or whatever. But like I think it's been pretty good and informative, and couldn't do without you guys, and I just can't wait to get back out there. I want to really do some interviews at the track, just small stuff, so I invested and got some equipment to be able to do that, just quick things or whatever, but it'll be interesting for that too. So if nobody has anything else, Mark, you have anything else before we rock out of here?
No. Only thing I'm curious, is there anything else that you guys would like to see with the interviews? So like this is more of a kind of all around thing. Is there anything else that you would like to focus on? Like Justin, you had talked about bike prep. Is there anything that you like? Would you like a podcast on something basically bike related, or
I don't know how much it would benefit me per se, but I feel like to a lot of beginners out there, because I know when I first started off, I was just on YouTube, just looking up Nelson Ledge's road course, trying to watch every single video I could possibly watch.
Yeah.
But in informational videos like that, I feel like to a lot of new people and say novice and intermediate per se, it could be fairly beneficial. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, just trying to get an idea of like something we could do to encourage more people.
Yeah.
I think us talking about like getting to the track and experience and stuff like that, I think that definitely helps. But I mean, I think the goal of this is to not only help you guys, but get new people engaged to come out, and see what it's all about.
I'm down.
I have an idea. It's a little more lighthearted. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's a little more lighthearted, but I think some of my favorite times at the track when I'm not on the track is just bullshitting in the pits, and it could be about anything. It could be about your MotoGP rider sucks and whatever, and you have those conversations and they turn into stories about when you crashed, and just get a group of guys together with no agenda and just start talking. And
my pit's always
any
open.
of us would love listening to that, because it's just guys bullshitting, but it's a topic that we all like, and you end up roasting each other or whatever you do, and just have like more lighthearted. You could just do that, with really no agenda.
Yeah,
and I think it turns out funny out there. What's that?
I always have good food. You can always come over to my pit, hang out.
Oh yeah, he does. And I think
I usually roast Ryan when I'm at the track, and he just gets pissed off at me, and that's just how it usually is. So.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, he's supposed to tell you up front, but he is a cop.
Hey, I'm not the only one here.
The sheriff department? You're a rent-a-cop? What are you, Mark? Come on.
All right. Well, hey, since you're a cop, how do you practice starts when you're on the road without getting pulled over?
I don't ride the road anymore.
I don't either.
Yeah, I do, and my starts suck. But I need to practice.
Hey, me and you both, buddy.
It's not illegal unless you get caught.
Yeah,
that's correct.
We can see where the 20-year-old is.
Yeah, I haven't ridden on the street I have a scooter that I take out twice a year. I haven't ridden on the road since 2005.
Oh, okay.
It's been probably 5 years for me, or 6 years, something like that. I don't know.
I commute to work with mine. That's what I bought it for. And
the street is dangerous.
Then I started racing.
Yeah, street is dangerous.
Yeah, most of my road riding was touring bikes anyways. It's been a long time since I've had a sport bike on the road, so.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, right on, guys. We went for almost 2 hours here, about a minute away. So, again, appreciate everybody's involvement in this, and prepping and getting some questions. And thanks, Mark, for joining me.
Absolutely.
Feel free, if you have ideas, let us know. I'm not saying I'm going to do everything, because like I said, I barely know what I'm doing. It's a lot to even put this stuff together, learning all this crap. And, yeah, I'm doing the best I can on it, and I do what I can with what time I have and whatever. And Mark, I know you have a whole bunch of ideas. You can do them yourself, and then I'll just upload them for you. So you know, but
You're doing them better than me.
yeah, well, I just yeah. So I appreciate it, and we'll call it a day there. Thanks everybody, and we'll see everybody watching next time. And yeah, thanks again. We'll see ya.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Brian.